How you doing, guys? Alex back. Sorry again for not really being around too much. Oh boy. Seems like every time I make a video there's always something wrong with me. But anyways, again, sorry for being not really up to date on the videos. Again, it is the school season, so kind of had to buckle down and kind of put modeling in general on the back burner, which is just a sin, at least in my book. But anyways, I checked up on the last update, and just a couple of things have been updated, finished, I should say. Maybe there's only really been 2 things, but as an update, just to start. What do we have here? The last time you guys saw this monstrosity, it was just primed black. So now what we got, voila. This Trumpeter kit was fantastic to put together. No add-ons, straight from the box. It's great. The only thing I have to say, issue-wise at least, that was kind of a real pain in the backside, was these propeller guards. Now, the only reason why I say they'd be a pain is these guys here, pin, one piece goes around to here, and then the one from the bottom to the corner. Now, they're so long, especially with this guy doing so much weight down at the end, they pretty much just had to prop it, set it, let it sit overnight, and then with these support struts, they were just an absolute pain in the ass to have them sit here. And then I ran into the problem of, well, one sat higher than the other, so this bottom support strut would just fall either short of it or above it, but this thing was the main strut arm was already in place. So I had to break it off and just go ahead and do it again. So they kind of put them both, planted the bases in with some of the Tamiya extra thin cement, just coated this whole area. I think there's actually a whole glob of super glue on each one. Just placed it, set them, moved it, and held it in place for a little bit, and just kind of let the super glue do its job, melt the corners together. And then it pretty much just set up a base of the structure so it'll just sit on its own. So I believe they are just about level. You can see they both kind of slope down. This is the one I ended up to break off, which is why it was more down than the rest. But despite that, these are the Trumpeter decals that came with it. Absolutely fantastic. They went on perfectly. I was going to add some numbers that I had for a T-34, Russian T-34. Just put a number or 2 or something along the side, and then I ended up losing them in the process, and it turns out they were next to the airbrush the whole time. But, obviously, of course, you never find that out until after you're done, and you matte coat it, and you're completely finished, and you clean up, and oh, there's the parts that you wanted to use. But, oh, and one more thing I might add as well, the clear parts are horrendous. These suck. Absolutely suck. It's not like Dragon's clear parts, or even Tamiya, or really just any company, for that matter. They did not come on a sprue. Let's see, maybe I have a remnant somewhere. No, I don't. If you think of a photo etch sheet, of which, well, here's a small little thing of photo etch. Okay, on the photo etch sheet, the parts are pretty much, they're all one level. And then you would break them off, take them out. Now, in a sense, think of it, the clear parts for this model were like a photo etch sheet, a large photo etch sheet, but it had no spacings to break them off. It was just an outline. So I had to take the X-Acto knife and do kind of your hobby knife and take a kind of a cookie cutter approach, I guess you can say, to do that. And it just would not work the way I wanted to. I don't know if anyone else has had any other troubles with that. And they're pre-cut, apparently, to fit the window structure just right. Well, that didn't work out either. So what ended up happening, oh boy, here go the birds. Silence winged demons. But anyways. The clear glue, for the clear parts glue, was not working at all to set this in. It was just popping out repeatedly. So what I ended up doing is took super glue, put a thin line around the whole thing. You can kind of see it burned and darkened up with the wash that I ended up putting on it. Kind of melted it and bubbled it up. But actually kind of just looks like dirt deposit buildup. And I ended up placing it, clamped it down with, I can't think of the name. And of course I don't have it here to show you, just to give you an idea with this thing. Tweezer clamps, or whatever the ones that you turn and they have the arms that close. Oh, here they are. In my stash of crap. Voila. So yeah. Just placed it, put the glue, clamped it down, and boom, worked. Worked out great. Same thing with the headlight, it was just terrible. But I put the matte coat on it, and I kind of just lightly over the clear parts, so it kind of gave it this winter hazy look. But despite that, I'm really happy with how this came out. I recommend these kits. Like I said, Scale Hobbyist shipped, I think it was $14, $15, I think. I mean, it might be expensive to some, but if you can get them, or if you're interested in them, highly recommend it. Do it. They're quick builds. Definitely a weekender if you just want to kick back and just take your time and build this up. I was originally thinking about doing this as a winter vehicle, but in the summertime. So I was thinking about doing it in the Russian green and just mudding it up and kind of have figures of just some Russian guys having fun in the dirt. I think they'll do that with the next one. I'd like to get a couple of these. Well, that's all we have here for the Soviet Aerosan RF8 GAZ98 by Trumpeter. Good ones there. An update for kits. I know for a couple of guys that have seen it on Google+. Come on, you bastard. There we go. On Google+, I posted pictures of the first 32nd scale T-34 of the year. 32nd, 35th scale T-34 of the year. And it is Cyber Hobbies German Capture T-34 76, mod 1942 with the cast turret. And voila. And here she is. The only difference on the Google Plus images is I did do a quick little update on the model. The stowage, the tarps and the helmet, they were too clean. That was brought to my attention when I met up with a couple of members of the model group that I'm in, model club, my local model club, and they said they absolutely loved it, but they just pointed those things out to me, so I just wanted to go ahead and dirty them up. So in the next meeting, I'll go ahead and bring this in for their update for everyone else to see. There's a couple of things that are off to me, I guess you can say, and that is that the tracks, the reason that there is not any of the bare metal, the steel showing on the tracks is because I did that at first, and then I put a earth effect on it, AK's Kursk effect, and it dried, and it turned the tracks yellow. It was not pretty at all. So I kind of had made this real crappy, crusty look. It was a nightmare. So I had to break it all apart. Then I resealed them, and then I did another track wash on it. AK's track wash. This stuff is awesome. Absolutely great. And I just kind of left it as is. And for the steel road wheels, the early model ones, I do not have any steel paints nor pigments or the graphite and pencils to really make that show. But in due time, I'll probably either add that on, although everything is kind of glued in place. Yeah, everything's kind of glued in place. But for the next T-34, I'll go ahead and do. I kind of want to do one with no fenders and just all torn up. I was thinking about adding photo etch sides. Just seen a lot of AK Interactive's modeling app. They show a lot of T-34s with pretty much the only parts that are plastic are the hull, the main parts of the turret, and everything else is practically photo etch on the models. And they're great. But without further ado, there we are. I use the same techniques that I used on Cohen's Kursk group build with the Panzer IV that I did with the retreating Panzer crew coming out of it. So I did the same, basically pretty much everything the same as the Panzer IV, just with a couple things different here and there. I know, as a question that was asked for the Panzer IV, that Panzermeister 36, how you doing, buddy? He ended up asking a while back, and I'll just go ahead and show all the products that I used for this. For the fading or the filter that I used for the camouflage on it, and I believe you had it in your update, Evan. But if you guys don't have it, this stuff is amazing. This is by MiG. They're P242 tan for tricolor camouflage for German vehicles. This stuff is amazing. As you can see, for the camouflage itself, it's broken up. It is broken up. It's chipped. And the way I did this was prime the model black, put on the base coat, the German yellow, and I gave this a shot. Ammo of MiG's chipping fluid, heavy chipping effects. I sprayed that over the whole model, and I just did one. I didn't want it to be too worn out, although I guess I rubbed a little too hard and it seems really worn out. Regardless, I kind of like the effect it gave. Just put either, depending on how much chipping you want, we'll decide whether or not you add more or emphasize the spray on the model after it dries. I think it was only 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes after it dried. I ended up spraying the camouflage, let that sit, and then moistened it with a wet flat brush and just started working away at it, and it just came off. So this stuff here works awesome. These two especially, if you want to do any camouflage that's broken up. Real good fading and filter effects. You go over here. Also, we used AK Streaking Grime, and I did not notice it until just before I was planning on making this video. I didn't add any rust streaking on this model, so I might add that. But for the Streaking Grime, let's kind of see, is it best way I can get this. There we are. You can see it coming off the engine deck. There you go, you get good representation of it back here. These effects are absolutely awesome. What I found to do with these is, at first I couldn't get the streaking quite right, and then I ended up reading an article in the AK Interactive app about using the product. So this entire area here, there wasn't a single spot of tan or of camouflage or anything that was showing. It was just little lines and just maybe a little longer. I think the biggest line I did was probably a 1/4 of a centimeter. Don't know how that'd be converting, because unfortunately America, we run off our own system. Sorry to piss off everybody else in the world that comes and visits, but yeah, you know, we try. And anywho, and I just lightly went over it with odorless turpentine. I wanted to use odorless because it's not as strong, apparently. But it's still, and it didn't affect the model at all. It didn't affect any of the layers that were under it, over it. And just used the flat brush and just lightly went down some areas. If you want emphasized streaking, I just say shape them. Just shape them. If you want specific streaking, say on certain areas, just drag it down and just shape it. Shape it the way you like. And if you want to fade it, either go up or down, depending on how much streaking you want. Less, more. Less is more. Less is more. And this is my first T-34 using the photo etch grill. The photo etch grills, you can see in there the intake panels, or whatever the hell you would call them, are inside. This is my first time using the photo etch for that. Worked out great. I tried doing photo etch on a T-34 before, and I guess I read the directions wrong, let's just say. It did not work at all. I had the whole thing glued to my finger, so there goes that whole layer of skin burned off. But, great fun. Great fun. We learn from the mistakes. The pigments that I used for this were just a Vallejo set of dirt, mud Vallejo set. You know what, yeah, I guess I'll just go ahead and show you guys. I'm starting to use the ammo of MiG. There we go. There's actually a rust and oil set. I end up using a lot of the dark. Using a lot of the dark. And ammo of MiG's airfield dust. Kind of mix these two together to make a somewhat of a moderate, dusty, dirty pigment tone. I just totally bashed that. Dear God, I'm trying to break my work. Anyways, so that's what we ended up doing here. As for the Kursk Earth effect, that's by AK. This is the underlining result. Sorry for the hole through it. I ended up I actually brought this tank into school today. I used it for a book report. To illustrate a scene from the novel Blood Red Snow that I'm reading, the memoirs of a German soldier or a machine gunner on the Eastern Front, and he talks about his unit. I believe he was a part of a machine gun section of the 24th Panzer Division, or the Leaping Horsemen, it was called, that was destroyed in Germany's 6th Army at the Battle of Stalingrad. And I'm pretty sure where it was from, because I believe that the 24th was once it was a retired cavalry regiment, which is why they kept the logo, and the piping along the epaulets was yellow, which in the the Wehrmacht of the German army symbolized that it was with cavalry. And they kept the epaulets, and they kept the colors, and they kept the tradition, and they kept the emblem, and they just moved on to mechanized. So I believe prior to the war, they were a light reconnaissance unit, and then was the war kicked up, I believe, just prior to the invasion of France, I want to say. Don't quote me on any of this, but they moved up and they started receiving Panzer 38s, Panzer 3s, and 4s, and so on. So I didn't add the Leaping Horseman. I didn't have the decal for it. I thought I had one on a Tamiya sheet that I had. I was going to make it a part of the Großdeutschland Panzergrenadier Division, but again, lack of the decals. But hey, I still got 3 more T-34s that I can work on, make them either captured. I think I'll finally do a Russian one for once, because it has been a while since I made any Allied armor. And as Panzermeister 36 brought up, boom! Some of an earlier, well, the same T-34 with the early model external fuel tanks, and pretty much the same exact vehicle. Going here, and they're both Dragons, well, Dragon's High Rally of the 35th scale, and Dragons 172nd scale T-34 76. I highly recommend both of these kits. Dragon makes phenomenal T-34s if you want to get started and try a good kit, even though it's a smart kit, which a lot of people find that intimidating, including myself sometimes, depending on the kit and part-wise. Most of the parts on this kit are just due to the tracks. This itself, it's very basic, it's very well put together. Absolutely superb kits to even use them as test subjects, quick builds, absolutely anything. Dragon's T-34s, phenomenal. Same, especially with their 72nd scale models. This T-34 and all the other ones that I built prior to this by Dragon. Dragon is my favorite 172nd scale manufacturer. It's the only ones that I built so far, but I have to say, for the ones that I've only built, I'm going to stand by them until the end, where I have both arms amputated and I can't model. Well, I'll probably try with my teeth. Yeah, well, we'll see. By that time, I could probably just buy a new body. But anyways, absolutely outstanding Dragon T-34s. Now, on another note, sorry for dragging that out so long. We got here, there are pictures on my Google Plus page of the T-34. Well, then I'll probably put the new ones on to update them. Sorry for the lengthiness of the video, guys. Alright, and just last to add, we have a Sherman! Yes, indeed, a Sherman. This is one of 2 that we found at the shop. They just recently received the Dragon's Sherman, and the M4 Sherman A something or other. Can't remember, but it's their 75mm version of the Battle of Normandy. Their Normandy campaign 75mm Sherman. But I saw this guy, and I wanted to do something different. As you can tell, I like alternatives of tanks, such as Russian tanks with German markings, or American tanks with other nationalities. I was hoping that there was going to be a Canadian. I wanted to do Sherman with Canadian markings on it. But all it has is British at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and just use this one, build it up. And eventually, I'd like to have a Sherman, a French Sherman, a Polish Sherman, a Russian, Canadian, British, American, Pacific Theater ones, New Zealand, Australian, type things like that, along with the Stuarts. Because I believe I just recently watched videos of fighting with British Commonwealth Indian soldiers with Stuarts, and that was interesting to watch. But anyways, I might use this, as I mentioned before, not before, but a while ago, talking about maybe a Sicily or Sicilian campaign type group build, somewhat sort of a thing. I may add this to it, I don't know. That is not 100% or anything, so please, if you want to ask questions on it, by all means do. I don't know anything on it, just a thought at the moment. But took a look at this kit. QDC did a build-up of this kit. It looks absolutely great. Opened it up right at the shop. As soon as I bought it, I tore it open and took a look inside. Great kits. For review, I'll leave that up to QDC. He does a whole build-through video on them. And I want to say, I just have to mention this. This 50 cal is beautiful. This is an amazing looking 50 cal. for being a solid piece. The only I believe it's in two parts, three parts. Excuse me, 3 parts would be the barrel and the lower receiver, and then there's the top hatch close. I can't the top of the feed tray. You can say that, you get the gist, and the butterfly mounts for the rear. Until then, this looks like a great kit. I'll keep you guys updated on what else to do. I do not know what to build now. I do not know. I'm debating whether to build one of the King Tigers, a Stug 3 LCG with Luftwaffe personnel, and got this as well. Start with these, and also pick these guys up. Panzer Grenadiers of Arnhem, 1944. I might add these guys with the Stug 3. As you can see, they have the late model Stug in the back with the Stug 4 gun mantle. I'm not sure. I think this is the F model, or leave it up to Panzermeister 36. You want to know something about Stugs? Talk to Evan. He'll get you going on there. By the way, beautiful Stug you got there going, buddy. Can't wait to see that one built up. I actually might build this Stug just to go ahead and build that one with you. But until then, guys, hope you enjoyed. Sorry for the length of the video. I haven't been around recently. I probably won't be as much again due to school. I have been very, very busy. But till then, guys, thank you for watching. Thanks for all the support that you have on my channel. I watch all your guys' videos. I try to comment as much as I can. I know I try to like all your videos and try to share them with my friends and my model community at home. And I just want to say thank you for keeping my channel alive. And thank you for the 119 subscribers that are on it. Alright, guys. Thanks again. And, well, keep your sanity and keep building. Have a good one.